Peter Strzok is the worst FBI agent I have ever seen. Worse, he's the worst FBI agent I have even ever heard of. And anyone who defends him is either completely brainwashed or a complete hypocrite. And here's why. Leave the partisanship at the door for a minute and just imagine if the man like this was investigating you. And you went to your lawyer's office before trial, and the lawyer brings out paperwork and shows you the texts between this person who started and led the investigation into you. Have these text messages that he sent proclaiming that you are a horrible human being and he will stop you. And furthermore, anyone who is supporting you is also a horrible human being. And then, just for good measure, he wrote something about having an insurance policy just in case you succeed. Is there truly any American who would not bring this evidence immediately to the judge's attention? Is there anyone who would object to bringing this up in their own defense? How can bringing up obvious bias against you by, again, not only the lead investigator in the case against you, but the actual man who started the investigation into you in the first place? How can anyone, by bringing up these facts to the judge in their defense, be seen as the bad guy in this scenario? How on earth could anyone defend the bias investigator in this situation? Really, if this man, Peter Strzok, was the lead investigator into you, and that defendant, you, found out that this lead investigator hated your guts on a personal level, and then you brought this fact up to the judge, shouldn't the investigator be the bad guy here, not the defendant? I mean, really, what the Democrats and the people defending Peter Strzok here are saying is literally equivalent to bringing the Grand Master Dragon of the KKK. He could come in and be the prosecutor against someone like Al Sharpton. And then this prosecutor can simply say, well, those cross burnings that I partake in and those meetings with the hoods that we all stand around the fire chanting, that's just what I do on the weekends. Come Monday morning when I go to work, I leave all of that behind. I am not biased at all when I actually go to work. That stuff's just a hobby. And we, as Americans, are supposed to just believe that. Would the Democrats believe something like that if that was the case? Of course they wouldn't. And neither should anyone in America believe Peter Strzok. He is not someone I would expect to be at the top of the FBI ever. I honestly want totally moral human beings. I want Boy Scouts. I want Eagle Scouts at the top of the FBI. I was married over 20 years. I never cheated on my wife. I never did anything completely immoral out there. Yet I do not think that I deserve or am qualified to be anywhere near the FBI, more or less on the top of it. I honestly want Boy Scouts up there. Those top 50 positions in the FBI should all be taken by completely honorable, completely moral men and women that cannot be compromised by blackmail. Honestly, don't care if an actor or an actress cheats on his wife. But I do not expect that type of behavior, nor will I tolerate that type of behavior from the people who sit on the top of the FBI. They must, at least in my eyes, be held to a higher standard. No American should defend Peter Strzok. None. Does not matter if you are Democrat, Independent, or Republican. This man should have never risen to the top of the FBI, and as soon as his bias and his immoral behavior was found out, he should have been removed from the FBI. Remember, in America, if you have a very high security clearance and anything you do is found to be immoral, like gambling or cheating on your spouse, you lose that clearance because you've opened yourself up to blackmail. That is actually the way clearance works here in America. This man should have been fired immediately once his immoral behavior was found out. Furthermore, should literally have been brought up on charges once his bias was found out in cases he did not recuse himself from. And if anyone in America is out there and they were being investigated and they found out that this type of person was the lead investigator in your case and he had personal animosity toward you, anyone would demand that this case be thrown out of court, and they would be absolutely right in doing so. So anyone who defends Peter Strzok is a complete hypocrite.